What's up, everybody? Today we are doing. You gotta stand tall. Okay, ready? I can do it again, baby. One. What's up, everyone? We are going to be showing you our garden tour of 2022. We are going to be walking you through our garden, what we did for the greenhouse, which is right here, right there, and then all the things that we planted in our desert garden. So keep watching and let's go.
Garden for this year, what we have so far. Got some aloe vera leaves here, or aloe vera plants. We'll be harvesting these guys for soap. Aloe vera grows pretty well in the desert, obviously. Surprisingly though, it doesn't do very well in the cold, so you actually have to bring them inside the greenhouse for winter, and so that's why they're still in their pot. If you look in here, you can see we have some little pups coming up, is what they're called. And these pups, we're gonna experiment with putting them out here and see if we could get them acclimated to our environment so we don't have to baby them. Got our grapevine. It's doing really well. Comes back. It always looks pretty scary at the beginning of the year, like it's not going to come back, but it always comes back. We're going to be taking some clones off of this guy, which means we're going to take cuttings off of it, put it in a aloe vera gel, and then making multiple grapevines. Grapevines actually do better when they're a smaller vine. You get bigger grapes off of them. So to have a big vine like this with a bunch of grapes on it, you're just gonna get a bunch of little pea-sized grapes, which aren't good. So still good, but you know, it's always nice to have a big grape to jump on. We got our herb garden right here. This thing is doing amazing. Such a surprise how much more potent and flavorful the herbs are when you get them fresh. And yeah, so we got oregano, lemon balm. This is one of my favorites. This stuff just smells and tastes amazing in the salad. We got sweet Thai basil, because
My favorite.
Rosa's favorite. She's been dying for one of those, so picked up one of those.
That's actually two, babe.
Oh, is it two?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so she looks like she got two of these ones. The dark opal basil. I haven't tried this one by itself yet, but we're trying to. Yeah, it looks cool, and we're trying to let it get established before we start picking from it. Thyme. Absolutely love thyme. It's just a wonderful flavor, and it's really great antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial herb to have. And so it's just a really good, not only seasoning to have, but just a good herb to have medicinally wise. Same thing with oregano. Oregano is actually one of the most potent antivirals, antibacterial, and antifungal oils out there. Between the two, you can really fight off some stuff with it. So we got some more thyme, chive. Everybody loves chive.
Probably should have picked a few more.
Yeah, this is garlic chive, but it'll come up really nicely, and we could probably take some root cuttings from it and expand on that.
Maybe even clone it.
Parsley, yeah, like Israel said, maybe even clone it. Parsley, everybody loves parsley.
That's the celery.
Yeah, this is a celery. I thought I saw a little a ladybug, like a baby ladybug.
I saw a ladybug.
Yeah. Yeah, so celery, no, it's not a herb, but let Rosa decide where she wanted to put everything this year. So we got celery in the
I thought that was
in the herb
cilantro.
garden.
Part of the herbs garden.
Cilantro.
We go through that a lot.
Yeah, we go through this a lot. So hopefully
in
we'll
your
be able to get some
sauce.
more clones off of this. Dill is my absolute, like, probably one of my favorite herbs. It's actually a weed, which is kind of cool. But yeah, dill is wonderful. Dill pickles, dill,
Tzatziki.
dill tzatziki, dill sauerkraut.
Right.
Yeah, tzatziki is basically just yogurt, garlic, lemon, and whatever herbs you want. It's really good.
That's delicious.
Your favorite herb is
Lemon.
Verbena.
Lemon
Never tried
verbena.
that.
Yeah, so
Verbena.
verbena. Yeah, sorry. I tried this yesterday, and it's, I mean, this thing, that's the basil. This thing right here is like extremely lemony. Like if you wanted lemon, but you can't stand the acidity, like myself, there's herbs to replace that. So lemon verbena, lemon balm are great substitute for that. Sage, you know, don't really need to say much about sage. So,
Sage is so nice.
yeah, it's a
It smells
beautiful
good,
looking plant. And then dandelion. So not a lot of people know, but dandelion leaves are actually edible. And yeah, so we've got some Italian dandelion, which I can't wait to start munching on. The dandelion roots are actually really good also. It's a good diuretic. Then we have a bunch of stuff scattered over here. There should be some more parsley in the background, a bunch of basil right up here by the sprinklers, and I think I planted a ton of oregano right here. I wasn't supposed to do that, but I did it.
You ruined my garden bed.
We've got mint. This says best, and that's not the best. This is...
Those are the best. The big ones are the best.
Oh, you switched it. Okay. Yeah, so these big ones are the best. Mint is just one of those things. It's
The kids
delicious.
have been munching on them.
Yeah, they love to munch on it. I love it in my salad. It can be a little overpowering if you get too much, so you got to get the right amount. But a couple mint leaves are really good on a dressing, and put it in the tea. It's really good in the tea. Yeah, so we'll head inside.
There he goes eating it already. Look.
We got rosemary, a few different varieties. Rosemary Tuscany Blue. This is like, seems like your typical rosemary. And then hunting carpet and creeping. Can't really taste the difference. They all taste like rosemary, but you can see the difference. This one is more of, looks like what will grow into your like rosemary bush almost, because the stems are very woody. So that looks like what would be like a rosemary bush. And then this one looks like it's gonna kind of spread out low to the ground.
Because it is called creeping.
It is called creeping, yeah, which is hopefully like it'll cover the foreground is the idea, and then we'll have some big bushy ones in the background. This is our little rosemary area. Then we have all of our peppers. So minus the black sheep eggplant that ended up right here, but
We have one eggplant.
one eggplant.
Isaiah picked up a millionaire eggplant. So I figured we just plant it with the peppers.
The peppers, yeah. We got some chocolate ghost peppers, some normal bell peppers. Can't wait to try these guys, see what they're like.
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, we're all a little
It
nervous.
might be a little spicy.
We have some jalapeno which are classics. I mean, can't go wrong with the jalapenos. Some yellow bells back here. We go through a lot of bell peppers in our house, so that's the reason behind all the bell peppers. Then we have a Carolina Reaper. So we started watching this show last year called Hot Ones, and
Let us know if you watched that show,
right,
because it's a very funny show. It's basically celebrities being interviewed,
right,
eating really spicy food,
right.
and we enjoy the heck out of it because it's so funny.
Hilarious. I don't know why. I like seeing people in their real state, and so they go on this show, and it really breaks them down because the food is so spicy that you have no choice but to just let go. And it's just it's really cool to see these high profile people in such a vulnerable state.
Right.
I mean, it's hilarious. So the main guy and
The host, right?
the host, yeah, I don't know his name, but there's another guy, an older gentleman that he eats the Carolina Reaper with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he eats a whole Carolina Reaper, and he does like this like twitching, like I mean,
Is that
it's
the Carolina Reaper?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh boy.
It's crazy. It's hilarious. So
That's why we got some.
yeah, we thought we'd get it and see if it's like actually as hot as they say it is. They say you
I
can't
think
even
it
touch.
is.
Yeah, they say you can't even touch the pepper without it burning you. So we'll see. Hopefully we get something. Yeah, and then we got some more ghost peppers.
We got an ancho.
Yeah, ancho. Oh, there's another
That's
cayenne.
a cayenne, yep.
Okay, yeah, so we have a cayenne here, and then I have a cayenne inside. So we use a lot of cayenne pepper, and peppers don't do well in the frost. So these ones will more than likely die when winter comes. I'm gonna try to implement some stuff where we can keep them over the years so the garden will keep going. But if that doesn't happen because of life, then this is what they're gonna end up dying back. But I saved one inside the greenhouse that's in a big bucket that will be able to grow throughout the years, because peppers can just keep growing for years and years to come. This is a test bed, so we're gonna be doing 3 different tests. This bed will have a covering over it, a wood covering that we're gonna try. It's like basically like a mini greenhouse that we're gonna set up here, and this is gonna be all of our vegetables, our leafy greens, kale, mizuna, Swiss chard, yeah, pretty much anything that will go inside of a salad or stew. This bed right here is gonna end up being plastic, PVC wet plastic, just to see how that'll function, how that'll work. Like, do we need to go and build out an entire wooden frame, or can we just get by with? And the reasoning is we have really extreme winds here in Pahrump. I mean, they're extreme, and so just kind of testing different things out, seeing what's gonna work best. And then this bed right here, we're gonna leave open, but I've also planted a bunch of clover leaf, clover. Yeah, clover leaf, like the 4-leaf clover, as kind of a cover crop. So then what I did was scattered a bunch of kale here, and I'll also scatter a bunch of Swiss chard and other leafy greens that we're eating. This bed is gonna be our seed bed. So it's gonna stay uncovered. Towards the end of the year, when fall comes around, we're gonna kill the water on this bed and let all of the plants go to seed. So when plants get no water and they go to drought or go into survival mode, that's when they start producing flower and seed. So, or if it gets too hot, like basically stresses on the plants cause them to go to seed head. So yeah, so that's what we're doing here, is to try to test out the gathering seeds. All right, so let's go check out the little nursery. Right over here is our figs. We absolutely love figs around here, and if you've never had a fresh fig, they are delicious. I mean, they are absolutely delicious. These two in particular are what's called the Black Mission fig, and they're the dark black purple ones. Wonderful. I mean, it's like a little honey bomb exploding in your mouth, and it is delicious. So can't wait for these to grow up, and we'll be taking a lot of clones off of these because figs are actually really easy to clone. What cloning is basically you take a cutting of a branch, you put in some kind of root stimulant, whether that be like aloe vera. Poplar trees have natural stimulants in them, or you can buy powder root stimulants, hormones essentially that cause the plant to produce roots, and yeah, you grow another tree. And there's multiple ways you can do it. There's a technique called air layering, where you just scrape off some of the cambium layer of the root or the branch. You will put soil and plastic around it, and then it will literally start growing roots on the tree itself, and then you can just cut it off and plant that into the ground. There's a lot of different methods that you can use, grafting, but method that I'll be using for the figs is just straight clones, because that's the method I like to use. These are a bunch of different varieties of figs. I don't remember all their names, and yeah, I don't really mind that. Some people might, but I just like the taste, and whichever ones I like the taste of the most, those are the ones that are gonna stick around and will continue to grow.
All figs are good, babe.
They're all good. Yeah, well, not all of them. So, well, to me at least. This one right here, no, which one is it? It is this guy right here. This guy right here is Kodu or Coda. I believe it's a
Coda, I think.
Yeah, I believe it's a Coda fig. And this one, all the figs that it's produced so far, they're just not really flavorful at all. I don't know what it is. So I've got better soil and some better soil amendments, and now it's on drip irrigation, so watering is going to be on point. Like pretty much everything's going to be on point. I've even got clover inside of all the pots. Hopefully I could get some more to sprout up. But essentially what's going on here is this will reduce water evaporation and let off different types of root exudates to attract or grow essentially different type of microbiology within inside of the pot itself. And so yeah, it should have no reason to produce maybe not its highest potential, but pretty high potential. And we'll see what the quality of the figs are. But yeah, to answer that, I don't think all figs are good. Hopefully this one ended up tasting sweet, but we'll see. Down here we have what Rosa hates.
Because it's spiky.
Yeah, it's spiky, but I don't know why. I have this love for these like very skinny, sparse looking trees, and I don't know if it's like in my roots or like what it is, but it's normally like they just look very, not dead, but just like they're not very bushy and plush. Not to say that I don't like the plush trees also, but I also have a heart for these very deserty, just sparse looking kind of. It's mainly like the Palo Verdes, mesquite trees. I think acacia trees are kind of like that as well. And they don't put off big leaves, and they just look really sparse. And I just love them. Then we got Comfrey down here. So Comfrey is spider. See if we can help it.
Oh, it's going up you.
Right.
Uh-oh.
That's not what I wanted. There we go. Comfrey is a great permaculture plant. Everybody trying to homestead or do any type of regenerative landscaping should have Comfrey on their property. And so the reason being is Comfrey is a miner. And what it does is it mines minerals from deep down below and pulls those minerals back up out of the ground. And you can take the leaves and ferment them, essentially just put them in water, let them soak, turn it daily, and extract all of those minerals and vitamins that it's pulled up out of the earth to then water your garden with. So it makes a great fertilizer. Animals love to munch on this stuff. You can harvest it 2-3 times every single year and feed as give it to feed. Chickens love it, the goats love it. What else? It's great for wounds, it's great for skin conditions, so it's also medicinal. It's a great ground cover to stop invasive grasses. So if you like, we're gonna put it along the fence line over here to hopefully keep the Bermuda out there and stop it from continuing to grow inside. So it's great for erosion control. I mean, the benefits of Comfrey are amazing, but it is one of those plants that once you put it in the ground, like, good luck getting rid of it. Because I mean, if you've got like a 1/4 of an inch of a thing that you've left underneath there, it's more than likely going to sprout and continue to grow. I mean, this stuff is really hard to kill. So yeah, Comfrey is great, and we have it in this pot because it's going to be what's called the mother plant. So from this plant we will break off the roots and make a bunch of other little plants to then plant everywhere, like around the chicken coop, around the goat's pen, around the garden, just everywhere that we can get this stuff at. Then we got almonds. We love almonds around here, and so we figured we'd start getting our almond trees growing. The blossoms are really beautiful in the early springtime. They're white, and almonds are actually a good way to signal when spring is here, because they're always the first to put off their blossoms, the almond tree. So almonds are really nice. We have this beautiful plum tree. It's not a fruiting variety, it's just a flowering variety, but it's beautiful. And this was given to Rosa for her mother, who just passed recently. So yeah, this is a beautiful tree, and the blossoms are just
flourished.
Yeah, the blossoms are just absolutely beautiful, and it looks like we'll be able to get a ton of clones off of this guy because it's clearly very prolific. And hopefully one day you'll see this. We kind of want to do the driveway. We're thinking staggering them with like a white and pink succession of flowering trees. So when you, in springtime, when they let off their buds, you'll see a beautiful pink and white display as you walk down the driveway. These are the black mission figs that I told you about, and yeah, those are amazing. Limes, I mean, who doesn't love limes? You can't go wrong with the lime. I mean, what can't you put a lime in? Probably cereal, right?
Probably.
This is the poplar tree that I was talking about that the animals love, that grows very skinny and sparse. It's dead up top, but this was taken from air prune that I was talking about earlier, where you cut into the cambium layer, which is it's basically the white portion of the tree. So when you peel the bark back, there's a white portion, which is the cambium layer, and you kind of rough that up, and then you put soil around it, and just wrap it with like saran wrap foil or something. I have these little devices that you just kind of clamp around it, and yeah, it literally forms roots like on the tree, and then you just cut the tree off and plop it in soil. I honestly thought this thing was dead. I didn't water it at all during the winter. Soil was as dry can be. But poplar trees have natural rooting hormones inside of their bark. And so these things are another one of those trees that are extremely hard to kill. So they do really good in drought situations like we're in right now, and in the desert in general. So yeah, we plan on putting this around the entire fence line because one, it makes good timber for firewood. Two, it acts as a windbreak. It's great fodder for the animals, which is feed for them to eat off of. And it litters the ground a lot in the fall time when it drops its leaves. So that covers the ground and allows the biology to grow around the property. So yeah, really good hardy plant. But once again, one of those things that you put in the ground and good luck getting rid of it. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. And then we have Moringa that's going to be planted here. If you're wondering why there's so many seeds, these are really, really old Moringa seeds. And I don't know if they're going to sprout or not. So I figure just take a good handful and just throw it in there. And if we get some, cool. If we don't get some, then we don't. But Moringa is really good. It's kind of like the multivitamin of the plant kingdom. It literally has all the vitamins and minerals that you need. Moringa has 18 of the 20 amino acids that your body needs, and it's just packed with all types of nutrition, vitamins, minerals that are vital for you. So it really is like the multivitamin of the plant kingdom. You know, they always make those claims like, oh, it has 10 times the amount of blah 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 compared to an orange. That's true, but I mean, unless you want to eat like 5 pounds worth of moringa seed or moringa leaf, which I doubt anybody's gonna do, you'll never get that what it claims. But it does have a lot, and it's just another thing to have inside of your arsenal. So yeah, we'll be planting moringa seeds, and it's in pots because moringa doesn't do well in the fall or in the winters. It will die back. So if we do get some, we'll bring it over into the greenhouse to try to keep that guy alive and get it strong enough to where we can hopefully keep it outside permanently. Still a lot of plans, still a lot of improvements. Still don't know what this year has in store for us. Yeah, trying new things all the time. So far, we're feeling really, really good about this year. Greenhouse is doing really well. Vegetables are doing really well. automatic irrigation, which is really great. Yeah, hopefully we can just start filling it up at this point. We plan on putting a little picnic table right here, where the chairs are. Where that pipe is, where it used to be a grow bed, is gonna be our washing table to wash all of our vegetables at. There's Bermuda under here, if you're wondering why this bed isn't here anymore. It's just, this stuff is relentless. I mean, just constantly pick it. I mean, if you leave something like this in the ground, it grows from its rhizome. And so what happens is when you break it, now you got two pieces of it. So it doesn't do any good really to rip it, because you have got to rip it all the way from the source root. So even if you leave a little itty bitty piece of it, it's going to end up growing. And it's great for erosion control, to put covering on the ground. But the problem is like, if you want to grow, it's going to strangle everything out, and it's just really hard to deal with. We plan on putting a washing table right here, and that's where we'll wash all of our vegetables. And we're hoping to get some blackberries along this fence line, but who knows? Lots of plans, lots of ideas, lots of dreams, but you know, life is life, and who knows where we end up at. So let's go ahead and go inside of the greenhouse and have a look and see what's growing on in there. I got that from a guy named John Cooler. He's a great guy. He's pretty much where I learned all of my gardening from. This guy is like astronomical in what I've learned through gardening. So yeah, it's a great guy. You should check him out. John Kohler, Growing Your Greens. This is the cayenne that I was talking about. Yeah, cayenne's really, all peppers are really high in vitamin C, and so we use it really just for the spiciest. Rosa, really all the kids absolutely love it on there. I can't have it right now, but love growing stuff. So yeah, so this is that cayenne pepper that I was talking about. These right here are in preparation for all of our clones that will be coming. We have a bunch of plants that we need to clone. So this is pretty much where they'll be going. It's really for the fence line. We want to start putting up a little bit of a privacy fence, and we have a good poplar tree that grows up pretty straight and looks pretty nice, and it's very versatile. Like, we could use it for firewood. It drops its leaves and falls, so that puts litter on the ground, as this kind of a mulch for biology around it. The animals love to chomp on it, so it's just very multi-purpose tree that we like to use. And so we're gonna try to get a bunch of clones of that. These are all of our seeds that we planted yesterday. It's just a variety of stuff. We have a bunch of leafy greens, some medicinal stuff here. We got a bunch of squash. Got a ton of different types of squash. Spaghetti squash. This is golden squash. We got some more spaghetti squash. Lemon squash, which
looks like a lemon, right?
It looks just like a lemon. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see that one. Honey boat squash, and this is our classic that is tried and true, that grows really well in the desert, is the Black Beauty. It's not actually black, it's green. I don't know why they call it Black Beauty. I thought I was gonna get a purple or black looking squash.
Like an eggplant.
Yeah, but it's just a green squash. But this thing grows, I mean, it grows enormous. I mean, this thing will get huge. You don't want to let it get that big because it gets like pretty fibrous, but still, like it grows huge, and it does very well in the desert. Like if you want to just get some squash going, throw this guy in the ground and it's gonna do well. We've got arugula, and as you can see, this is going to seed and flowering, and that's because I forgot to water it. And yeah, this is what happens when you stress out a plant. We've got tobacco. So the tobacco is gonna go back here in the background. So I learned from a guy out here that does farm to table, a really great guy. And he actually uses tobacco as what's called a diversion crop. So what happens is the tobacco grows really big leaves, and we have really bad aphids and thrips out here. It's a type of pest. And what they do is they get onto the leaves and they suck the juices out of the leaves, and they ultimately end up killing the plant. And so the tobacco leaves, it's a narcotic, and what happens is or nicotine. It has nicotine, which is addicting. And so what happens is when they get onto the plant, they end up addicted to it, and they produce these really big leaves, so a ton of them could get on it, and it just kind of diverts the aphids from your crop, which ultimately your first line of defense is your soil should be good enough and healthy enough to where your plants can get all the nutrients that it needs to kind of divert the aphids from getting onto it, because aphids ultimately are going to get on a sick or weakened plant. But the hope is that they will end up diverting to all of the tobacco leaves in the background and then getting addicted to the nicotine, and then we'll just spray the tobacco because we're not going to smoke it or eat it, and we can spray that with whatever we want, which will still be organic because we don't do anything but organic and natural. But I don't have to worry about even if you spray natural stuff onto your plants, it can ultimately hinder them because it clogs the pores on the plants and it stops them the photosynthesis process, and it weakens the plant ultimately. So spraying is normally like last thing that you want to do, but out here in Pahrump, like sometimes you just got to do it because it gets pretty rough. This is our worm bin. I had a tub donated to me, or to us, and right here is where we throw all of our leaf cuttings, any leaves that aren't looking good, and we have worms down in here. Let's see if we can get some of these guys out. Can't find them.
They're sleeping.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't find any worms right now. They're down here. I mean, it's a bathtub. It's a huge tub. So eventually we'll get to the point where they should just be completely overpopulated. Worms actually double in their population every 3 months. So they grow pretty rapidly. We just started off with 200, but we plan on getting a couple thousand more. There's a guy that we purchased from. His name is Uncle Jim. Uncle Jim's Worms. A great couple that has a worm farm. Worms are normally pretty cheap. They always come really good quality, and you could get, I think it's 2,000 worms for like 60 bucks, which is really all that you need. Like I said, they double in population every 3 months, so you just do the math and they multiply really quick. And here's our salad, another part of our salad garden. Really, this whole garden is what's called a kitchen garden. It's all the leafy greens and everything that's gonna be used inside of the kitchen right next to the house, so it's easy to access. This is Mizuna. which I have absolutely fallen in love with. This is such a wonderful leafy green. It's got kind of a horseradish, kind of spicy kind of taste to it.
Which you love.
Which I love, I absolutely love. And I don't know if it's like that because of the heat that it's in, because I've also read that it could be kind of sweet also. So I think what happens with plants, depending on if it's hot or cool, hot weather brings out different attributes and cold weather brings out more of the sweetness. Typically lettuces and kales and everything, any leafy green is going to be more bitter or spicier in the heat. And then once you move into further into the fall and winter, things will start getting sweeter, and that's because the sugars start releasing more into the plant. And so yeah, so that's, I'm wondering if that's why it's so spicy, but this is delicious. This is Russian red kale. These are, it's kale, you know, here. Not much to say about those ones.
They grow really well out here.
Yeah, kale grows amazing. We actually have some Tuscany kale, the typical dinosaur kale that we'll get to down here. This is, I don't remember the name.
I think it's called musclin greens, babe.
Is it musclin greens? Yeah.
This is delicious too.
Yeah, this stuff is amazing.
And they're growing pretty well.
Yeah,
too.
and this grows like, yeah, it really grows well. It's weird when you pick these, it's like a white sap that comes out of it, which is always kind of interesting to me every single time. I don't know if you can see that. It's like this white sap that comes out of it. But yeah, no, these things are delicious. This is just your normal, typical lettuce.
Lettuce leaf.
Yeah, it's lettuce. Not much to say about that. And right here is seedlings coming up of our dinosaur kale. Dinosaur kale grows really, really well out here. If you want to plant something that you don't really have to worry too much about, it does pretty well against aphids. But if you got an extreme problem of them, I mean, there's nothing that you can do. They're gonna get whatever they can. But yeah, dinosaur kale, really, really good. And then as you can see, the girls right here have a bunch of strawberries that we've yet to put in the ground, because we plan on putting those around the grapevine area over there. But we have a Bermuda infestation. Not infestation, it's basically this at one point was gonna be a kid pen for baby goats. And so we ended up putting grass over here, but then we decided that we don't want any animals up front around the house, so the animals got moved to the back. And for years now we have been fighting Bermuda because this stuff grows, it's so unbelievably invasive. Like, don't ever put Bermuda on your property. That's all I'll say.
Unless you wanted to take over everything.
Unless you wanted to take over everything.
And green up everything.
Because the only way to get rid of this stuff is to either cover it.
Burn it.
We have probably it's 3 layers of just fabric cloth. And then probably 2 layers of cardboard underneath this greenhouse right here to stop the Bermuda from coming up. And I can show you spots along these T-posts right here where Bermuda is still trying to come up. We're still pulling Bermuda. That's how, it doesn't care how dark it is, it doesn't care how dry it is. This stuff, if it gets even a drop of water and sunlight, it's gonna take off. So yeah, so we have to figure out how we're gonna cover up the Bermuda over there, and I think we've got a strategy. And hopefully we'll have some strawberries to show you guys, and hopefully we get to harvest them. They'll probably be little itty bitty tiny things, but hey, we'll be growing strawberries. Yeah, and that's it. And thank you for coming along, and seeing our greenhouse and being a part of our journey. We really appreciate it and love you guys.